This is a News Channel 15 special report. Welcome inside a News Channel 15 special report. Tonight we look back at last night's Wabash District 348 school board meeting. The board took a look at winter sports, specifically whether or not they would look to play basketball, which would be in defiance of Governor J.B. Pritzker's order, but in compliance with the IHSA's plans to move forward with the basketball season as scheduled. You'll hear from parent Doug McPherson, who made a plea to the school board to play sports as scheduled. You'll also hear from reaction from some of the students and others who showed up to show their support. You'll also hear from board members who spoke about the district's plans, including, in full disclosure, me. I'm on the District 348 school board, so you'll hear my speech last night, along with board members who also spoke as well. So we'll present that for you here now.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for allowing us to speak tonight. I was asked to speak on behalf of the students and the parents in regards to the play or not play situation. Just what I really want you to know is that we all understand that you guys are in a bad spot. Probably a spot that we shouldn't even be put in, or you should be asked to be put in. We understand the weight of the situation, the difficulties in the situation, and the difficult decision. Obviously, you look out here, all these kids, they're here because they want to play ball. They want to get back to living their lives. There's many more out in the parking lot. They're not here to protest, they're here to support you. And we're here to support you. We're here to ask you to give them a chance. We know that it's a difficult decision, and we're just here to get your back in case there's any backlash. We know as parents and as fans that it most likely would not look like what we would want it to look like. We know there would be concessions and give and take that we would have to make, whether that's limited fans, only parents, or whatever. I personally, in my mind, would like to see everything as normal, obviously. That's what we would all like, but we realize, hey, whatever we can do to get these kids back on the playing court and get them living their lives, we're willing, and we will help any way possible. My name is Doug McPherson. Many of you may or may not know me. I wear several hats around the community. I'm involved in several organizations, so this is my disclaimer. These are my thoughts, not any of those, not representing any of those other organizations. The hat I'm wearing tonight is father. It says dad on it with a big ace, okay? So it's just me. I wanted to share a quick story. When I think about all this that's going on in the last 8 months, and I look at what it's doing to the kids, it reminds me, I don't know if any of you, I hope several of you are aware of the On-One program that my wife Christy and I started 6 years ago now. It's a character building series based on Christian values, and we started it, and to be honest with you, I was scared to death and didn't really want to. But we did it anyway. And a lot of these kids that are here tonight attend those evenings on Wednesday nights, and it's been a joy. It's been a blessing to me for sure, and I hope it has for them. But I remember in the very first year that we started, we were only in about week 3, and a young kid came up to me with his mom, and he had a handful of cash in his hand. And he came up, and his mother said, he wants to give you this and donate it to the program. And I said, and me saying, nobody, we're plenty well funded, I don't want to take. She said, no, it's his birthday money, or it was his birthday today, and he wants to give this to the On-One program. He believes wholeheartedly in it. And I said, no, we've got everything we need. The churches are providing meals. We don't need any money. And my wife pulled me aside. Of course, she has a way of doing that sometimes. And she pulled me aside and said, Doug, you cannot rob this child of this blessing. He wants to give of himself to help others. So I don't always do this, but I listened to her, and I took the kid's money. So we get the money. I said, well, buddy, how about we get a banner so that we can put up on the building in front of us, or behind the speaker every Wednesday night. He said, that sounds good. I had no idea what a banner cost, but I just told Christy, get a banner, we'll put it towards it. Whatever's there. I didn't count the money, she didn't either, till later. And there was $54 of his birthday money that he gave to the On-One program. When we got the banner at Hot Teas and Cool Vinyl at the time, Christy called me freaking out and said, you're not going to believe this. She said there was $54 in that, and you know what the invoice was? It's $54 on the dot. So, I don't know if you all ever had a God wink, but that was one for me. And it really taught me a lesson that here I thought I was doing what was best for this young man. But it was really, the gift was in the giving, and the blessing was there. So I'll talk more about that later, but I wanted to share that story because I don't know if he's in here tonight. I'm sure he's around. He may be outside. And you guys know him. You know his mom. But it was Owen Doherty. He was a 5th grader at the time. He's now a sophomore. If you don't mind, I'm going to sit down and read this letter. He would like this to be shared to the board. Dear Dr. Blyer and school board members, to begin with, I would like to recognize what a difficult position you are in, and thank you for everything that has been done to keep the students in District 348 safe up to this point. I am fully aware of what's at stake and the many factors you must consider in making this crucial decision. As a student athlete, though, I am writing to ask you to vote in favor of allowing winter sports to take place as scheduled. I'm a sophomore at MCHS with a heavy athletic background. I play golf, basketball, baseball, which keeps me pretty busy year-round. Sports are extremely important to me. Although with not only my teammates, but our school and community as well. In the fall, I was lucky enough to take part in the golf season for the first time. The number of students who signed up for sports such as golf and tennis this year compared to previous years really shows how important it is for some kids to be a part of an athletic team and enjoy the benefit that it encompasses. Whether the student signed up to just try something new, to give them something to do, or just to be with their friends, or just to enjoy the game, having the season was a huge success. I think the same thing could be said with holding winter sports in their designated schedule season. Although I'm just a sophomore and I have 2 more years to gain this experience, my friends who are seniors don't. This is their last chance to be a part of something that provides them memories that they can look back on for a lifetime. Not to mention that with the group of guys and girls on the basketball teams right now, we have a chance to do some great things. Being granted to play is also important to young kids in the community who look up to the boys and girls on the team. They look forward to watching them play. It inspires the kids to grow up and do the same thing one day. I can vouch for this because I was one of those kids when I was younger. Not just the players, but the cheerleaders, pep band, singing seven, student section, and all of our loyal fans who support us to combine to create a great experience that you can vote to provide. I realize that there may be certain restrictions put in place in order to make everything possible, ultimately keeping everyone safe and healthy. We will make sure to be careful and abide by the rules. I hope you all take this information into consideration. Please let us play. Respectfully submitted, Owen Doherty. So I wanted to share that with you. I also had a couple other quick little cards from from some cheerleaders and such, and here's one from Gavin Smith. I'm in favor of having basketball in December, but because we've put in so much time and effort in basketball this summer, and we don't want it to go to waste. Lexi Fisher, cheerleader. It's very important to us to show leadership and spirit to our peers, and being in uniform helps that. This is what we love to do, and it's hard that is being taken away from us. Go Aces. Caleb Beasley. It is important to us because we only get 4 years of high school, and we don't want to miss out on all the memories. We encourage the fans to get up and yell for the players, so it makes them play better. We need fans. As a junior, I've worked so hard to better my skills, so I want to show what we have been working for. We've had so much taken away from us this year. Let us play. Kinsey Cusick, cheerleader, Cusick. It's important to us to get the players and fans fired up and create a spirited environment. A lot has been taken away from us because of the decision made by the Governor Pritzker. We only get 4 years of high school, and thinking about the memories we didn't get to create this year is so upsetting. We can't let him continue to hurt us in our town. Small towns like ours live off sports. They make us happy. They keep us going, and I hope and pray that we can get that back soon. The bonds we create, the risks we take, and the tasks we do for this community will always be close to my heart. Let us play. That's just some thoughts from some of the students. I've talked to many of them. They all want to play. So that brings me to what it means to be an athlete. I was a 3-sport athlete here at Mount Carmel High School. My daughter's a 2-sport athlete. We have many multiple sport athletes. I can't even imagine missing out on a single season, let alone multiple. I know you guys have heard all the statistics, and I'm not going to blab on about all that, but I think we could all agree that athletics and sports provide great mental and physical health benefits. I think that's a given. More importantly, it brings joy. It brings joy to not only the kids, it brings joy to the parents, it brings joy to the community. Playing sports is fun, but it's so much that meets the eye. If you've ever been an athlete, you know this. It becomes a part of who you are. It becomes a part of your identity and the community, and amongst your peers, it just becomes a part of you. The lessons you learn are enormous. They're unmatched by anything else you can do. The character that it teaches you how to work hard, it teaches you how to push your body to limits that you don't think you can achieve. And it teaches you to do that amongst your peers and your teammates towards one common goal. And that's really what we do in business and in life, period. You're constantly learning to work with others, and you're always striving for a single goal. And it teaches you that the joy that it brings when you reach that goal and you get a victory. But more importantly, it teaches you what can happen after a bitter defeat, but you all band together and you get back up and you work harder to do better. And then you get that next victory. That's perseverance. Another thing that sports does for us, in many cases, for some kids, it's an incentive. It's an incentive for their academics. It's an incentive to get their grades up, to keep their grades up, so that they're eligible for play in the next week. I've coached a lot of years on a volunteer basis in this community. I've seen it. So I know in the last 8 months, not just here, but around this country, the entire country, we've canceled a lot of things. We've canceled a lot of things on the what ifs. Now I know this COVID deal is real, and I know that it has horrible effects. I've had it, it wasn't fun. My wife's had it, we've dealt with it, but I know that it affects others worse, and I understand that. But we constantly are looking at the what ifs. feel like as a culture we have become so focused and scared of the what ifs that we are now blind to what is. We're scared and fearful of what might happen, that we're blind to what is happening. Every day, we're taking things away. Things are taken from us. And it needs to stop. We got to get back to living life. 11 miles away, they're living life. These kids go over there. Many of them are part of travel teams over in Indiana. They follow their friends on Facebook. They watch them. Allie's friends just played their hearts out in their volleyball season, didn't they, huh? As adults, we're going to have to start letting these kids live their lives. I beg of you. We got to ask ourselves if we're truly making things better for the next generation. You know, you guys have a decision to make. I understand that. You've got to vote. But I just want you to remember, you know, all this that's happened is yesterday. Yesterday's in the past. We can't change it. Tomorrow's in the future, and it's uncertain. We don't know what is. But today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. And no matter what we do, the decisions we make surrounding the COVID deal, none of us sitting here tonight is guaranteed tomorrow. God does not promise us that, no matter what decisions we make. But He gives us today. And so far in 2020, we have thrown away a lot of todays. Day after day after day, we throw them away. I'm just asking you, you've got an opportunity to fight and be a trendsetter in our region. We know that there will be a lot of changes and it won't look the same. But I believe and we believe that we can do it, and we can get these kids on the court. I'm just begging you. From what we've seen, when you start, what these kids have been through, and they keep being kind of promised one thing and then yanked away from them, I think they're losing hope. When you rob somebody of joy enough times, apathy sets in. So, we're just here to support you. We hope that you make the decision that we want, and we just are asking and begging that you let them enjoy their blessings. I want to thank you all for listening, and if you have any questions for me, that's wonderful. Thank you very much, and that's it.
School board really appreciate you coming tonight and voicing your opinion that we are going to open this up for other school board members to have a few comments, and at the end I'm going to have Dr. Blyer say a few statements from the school board. But I want you to know that we are moving forward with practices, etc., as if we're going to try, schedule, possibly, and play. If there's anybody to play, and if nothing happens to keep us from playing. Is there anybody else?
I'll kick off speaking as a member. This is me speaking. This is not the board speaking, just to clarify that. Doug, thank you. I know that you did a very good job of something I'm going to try really hard to do, and that's not get overly emotional about this. Wrapping up 8 years on the board here soon, and I think everybody knows where I stand in terms of the value of extracurricular activities. I couldn't put a ball in the hoop from a layup position on the court in basketball. But some of the most precious moments of my high school career were spent as part of the basketball team, as a student assistant, as a manager. You learn a lot. I would say I learned more being on a basketball team than perhaps I did even in the classroom. I value sports and extracurricular activities so very much. And you have my commitment that I want us to play. I want us to play in every which way we possibly can. Here's where things get tough. We got to have people to play, which means that it's going to take other school districts in Southern Illinois willing to make that commitment to play us. It's going to take the community standing behind us and our decision, and I think that's going to happen. The other thing that worries me is if the governor comes down and says, in another one of his edicts, that he's going to take away our state funding if we play. That puts us in a really bad spot, because a giant share of the money it takes to operate our schools comes from state funding. I don't think he can do that, but I also worry about how much money it would take for us in court to figure that out. I worry about what happens if that money goes away. We've got to keep the doors open. We've got to keep our kids in school. And that is the only thing, as of now, for me personally, that says we don't play, is if the governor makes it absolutely impossible for us to not play. I think you're right. I think it's right to play. I think it is right to get back to living life. If you don't want to play, don't play. But I think it's time to get back to living life, as you said. And you have my commitment as a board member and my vote that I want us to play, and will do everything in my power to get us to that point. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for the show of support. It means a lot, and you have that back from me.
Thank you guys very much for coming tonight. Your support means the world. This is a tough situation, but I'm fighting for you guys as hard as I can. It's hard not to jump up and down and scream at what's happening to you. You know, we've been doing this for 9 months. It was supposed to be 2 weeks. And as we've done this, nothing's changed. I could say that it seems like COVID is worse now locally than it's ever been. And we're doing exactly what they say. And what they want us to do is just keep doing exactly what they say. I cannot disagree with our governor and our Department of Health anymore. And I'm speaking for me, in my opinion. I'm not speaking for the board whenever I say this. Screw them. I'm tired of it. We need to be playing sports. It's time. You know, I didn't trip over a bunch of dead bodies trying to come in here tonight. And last time I went to Walmart, I went tripping over dead bodies. I know a ton of people that's had this. Every one of them lived. I'm not taking away the fact that this is dangerous for certain people, but so is getting in a vehicle. My vote, should it come to a vote at some point, is play ball. I would personally like to see us right now Just go find somebody that would play us. And then approach us and say, hey, City Z over here in southeastern Illinois wants to play us. They're willing to follow, maybe not follow our lead, but maybe together be leaders. Approach the board with that. We found this city that wants to play us. Can you guys let us play? The IHSA right now says we can play. It's the other two departments that says we can. And I don't really care about the other two departments. Play ball.
I have a whole lot to say. The only thing I would say is I'm glad you came, glad for your support. We love our kids. That's the reason we're here. And I can't tell you how everything's going to go, but I would tell you that the last board meeting we put these kids back in the classroom because we thought that's where they needed to be. In my own opinion, I think they need to be on the field and court also. That's my opinion, doesn't count much, but that's what it is. Thank you.
Okay, so right now you are on schedule to start practices next week. I know you've been doing conditioning and all kinds of other drills. That will continue to move forward. Also, I've already tasked the athletic department with trying to find a potential schedule. I can tell you that there's a lot of places that have said no, but that doesn't mean we might find some that says yes, especially if we show that we're willing to play a game. So the board is very much behind that completely. If there is a determination that we are going to play, we actually have somebody to play, if needed, the board will have a special meeting, and at that meeting they will place a vote either to allow athletics to move forward or not. I can tell you we just don't know what happens 2 weeks from now, 1 week from now. So don't put words in the mouths of board members. It's tough trying to figure out what we're going to do. But as I've said many times, stay in shape, get healthy, get stronger. Because when the time comes to play, they'll be right there in front of you. And if you think it didn't happen, we did this in golf, we did this in tennis, and we did this in cross country. And those other teams were right there, ready to go. So I really push for you to be ready. Your coaches will be pushing you to be ready. We're 100% behind you. You don't know I'm vested right there is my daughter who lost her lead role in the musical, so this is really affecting me personally too. And she's going through her senior year just like a lot of you are, and I've seen every one of you play your sports. So we're really pulling for you, and we're going to do the best we can as a board to support you.
I guess my last comment is everybody seems to be pushing forward. I hope we can stay pushing forward and something doesn't happen to make us backtrack, but we can't say that right now. I mean, I want everybody to feel good about leaving here tonight, but I don't want you to feel that we're 100% we're going to be able to play, okay? But we're going to do our best to try and get you there. Hope we're not disappointed.
Again, that was at last night's Wabash District 348 School Board meeting. It's important to note the board did not take a formal vote on the matter and will potentially look to do that once and if the school can develop a schedule for playing winter sports. We'll continue to stay on top of that situation. I'm Kyle Peach with this News Channel 15 special report.